So Rick Nassenstein.
Nassenstein. Yep.
I got it. Or Rick Nasty.
Yes.
Whichever one you want to do.
Yes. Depending on which hood you're in.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm excited to chat with you. We've obviously just been chatting a little bit and that sort of stuff, but your business, the Naughty Dog, new to downtown Palm Harbor. Let's start there and just kind of talk about your concept, your ideas with the Naughty Dog, and see that.
Okay. So the idea is kind of morphed a bit, but we bought it. It was Palm Harbor Brewery, Two Lions Winery. And so our original idea was to open up the building, which we've done. Now we have 21 taps. So we're trying to do very high-end taps that you wouldn't just get anywhere. We have wine slushies. So we started with 2, which were done with the previous business, and we've expanded that to 6.
Nice.
We're going to start doing some more flavored stuff. I mean, we have some core wine ones, like a peach Bellini, sangria. We're going to try and we have a naughty mocha on already.
Okay.
And we're close with a key lime pie one. So we want to do some unique flavors on that, offer that. And then the front of our space will be more of a small dessert room where we're going to have gelato, and we'll have some other items, maybe like some macaroons or some cookies, some complimentary items, just in case, somebody doesn't want ice cream, but they want something sweet.
Sure.
And then we'll also have a coffee machine just for those who would like to have coffee for dessert.
Nice.
So
kind of expanding on like what the previous business was, like Palm Harbor Brewery, right? And
yep.
Yeah. And you're keeping the wine slushies, which I know are a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
Yep. Yeah. We might expand to be a brewery again.
Oh, okay.
It's just the way that we're trying to get the core right, and then if we can add something like that, I would love to have 5 or 6 of our own that we're doing.
Yeah.
At some point. But as of right now, our first year is just going to be focused on guest taps, our slushies, and then bringing in the desserts. And then down the road, when we get approved, hopefully within 6 months, we're going to add a smash burger trailer.
Okay.
So it's just a little 10-foot. So we can do some smash burgers and some hot dogs and some other kind of staples like that.
Nice.
And then we're going to build out a little stage area so we can just do light and acoustic music, just single, nothing, no big bands. That's usually covered by the Bogota group.
Yeah.
They have their live bands. I think we have Black Honkies tomorrow and maybe No Filter.
Oh, cool.
Next day or today. Is it Friday? It is Friday.
Today's Friday.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll probably do some space out there that'll be shaded, and we'll complement either our live music on an acoustic basis or the bands if people want to come over and enjoy something that we have. Because there's a lot of overflow there because they don't have a lot of space for some of the bigger bands that they have. So it's more of a listening area that they can enjoy our items. And so that's kind of the design for the space. We're limited with it, but we're trying to maximize the most that we can out of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's location wise, it's cool, and like you said, the space it's small for a business and to try to get people in there, but you're in downtown Palm Harbor, which is great and growing, like we were just talking about. What why get into this business? Like, do you have any experience in owning a restaurant, a brewery, or anything like that before?
No. So why? Because it sounded like a good challenge. So, yeah, I've done a small donut business on a farmer's market basis, which was fun. It was just a blast doing that. So that's really my only food business that I've ever done. For me, it was about, I kind of saw an opportunity with other partners that I have, that they had needs. And so I kind of recognized the building. I always saw that kind of area as being underutilized based on the design. We had prior to that, we had an Iron Oak barbecue in the Bogota spot. And then we had the Two Lions. So I think just, I would drive over there and be like, wow, what a quiet spot, but what a good location to expand on. And then Bogota has come in and done some things that have added some foot traffic, certainly as a full-time restaurant, and the bands and the brunches that they do. And now if we can do something else that kind of adds another reason to come over to Georgia Avenue instead of just the Florida and Nebraska area, that, then we have another nice little place to go that might offer something a little different than the other side of town.
Yeah. Which isn't that far away.
No, it's not. You can actually go to both within the same night. It's only 2 blocks away. So if you don't like one, you can go to the other.
I think it's funny how we were just talking about like parking being an issue, and Dunedin, kind of the same thing. Like it always seems to be an issue in these little downtown areas. For me, I enjoy walking, right? So like when we talk about like downtown Palm Harbor, it's not very big. Yeah. So it's, you could park on one side of town and walk to the other side in a couple of minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
I usually park on the backside of Naughty Dog and I just walk right over.
Yeah.
Go to all the other ones. Yeah.
There you go. So, so let's jump into like your previous experience. So you've owned businesses before, started a business, sold businesses. How did you get started? What was the first business you got into, and how did you get started in that?
Well, I started off as a CPA, and then I went into public accounting for like 5 years, and then I shifted over to a medical company and became their CFO. And then over time, I've just done various different businesses. I did the donut. I've been remodeling homes, and I did remodeling for that. I've had involvement in the medical business. I became owner of that. And then landscape company was a purchase, very similar. I had no landscaping experience, but how hard it is, you mow a lawn.
Yeah.
Joking. But I had a business partner that had a need, and I felt like I could assist and help grow it. And that's kind of where I feel like I'm, kind of honed in on what I'm good at, is just identifying it, partnering with the right person that wants to do the detailed work and like the day-to-day. And like, I can do more of the expansion vision stuff to where
big picture.
Where I'm running the numbers, I can see kind of those things. And,
it's interesting. So your background, as a CPA, right? So you're analytical, you like numbers, you enjoy that side of it, but then you also have like the visionary aspect of like big picture, where is this company going? I feel like those two typically don't mix, right? It's either like big picture vision and then like the details and numbers, like I'll leave that to somebody else.
Yeah. No, I did it at the beginning, and I got that experience. So I think that combined with, a lot of the people I know that are CPAs that I'm friends with, and like they're very still analytical and detailed and all that stuff.
What do you think switched for you? Like, or like, is it just like, was it the first business you got into, like that medical business?
I don't know. No, I think it was more I just jumped out and did the remodeling of homes. It was one of those moments, like in 2008, where I was like, I was itching. I was like, I really want to do it. And then all of a sudden I just did it. And I didn't have any experience doing it. I just learned it all. And then, I don't know. I always had that side of me though, because even when I walk into a new place, a home right now, I'm like, I'm looking at like what it could be.
Yeah.
And, I'll look at the structural stuff and some of the basics as well, but I'm always looking at like, I'm moving stuff around and walls around and this around. So I think I always had that knack.
So as growing up, like you felt like you had that.
I wasn't creative at all, though.
No,
I wasn't artsy. I did play the piano.
Okay.
But I did. No, I don't know. Yeah. It's just something with business. It's, I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like if I told you that it's like the movie accountant, where I'm always like, I'm looking at this stuff, I'm looking at the data, and I love data, and I'd be like, okay, but if you take that data and you make these changes, then you would increase
Yeah.
your bottom line or profitability, or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there was a moment, but I remember that was a big moment for me, was getting that first home.
Mm-hmm.
It was small. It was like 30,000, and me and my ex-father-in-law like went in on it together and just dived in, and then did that one, and then I did a bigger one after that. Then I did a bigger one after that. And I just progressed into, what I have today, which is I've done it now for 15 years, and
wow,
I don't know how many times I've done it, but probably 20 to 30 times.
Yeah.
So it was just that, taking that first step, and then getting into it and doing that. And then, the donut business was just, I think I told you before, that was just because I was really upset at the one guy that was doing it so wrong. And I'm like, I could do this so much better.
Watch this.
And then I'm like, 1 month later, here I am doing a different farmer's market. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. But so that's another side of me, is I can get competitive in a good way. I think it drives me to I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to park my tent right next to him. I'm like, no, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go do it somewhere else and prove that I can do it. And so I did that. And then, I don't know. Yeah. After that, I focused on medical a lot, like in the last, 2016 through 20. Mm-hmm. I focused a lot on that and trying to get that right. And we expanded that from what started off as like 5 people up to 150 by the time I think I left. So we're good size, located everywhere, great technology. It's just, it wore its time for me. Yeah. It's like, I love the fact that I loved it, but healthcare isn't always about healthcare. And like once it started shifting from like focusing on patient care and like growing and interacting with employees all the time, it was more like, you got to hop in this meeting. You got to hop in this meeting. And it's like,
enough of that.
I can't do this forever. So I did as long as I could. And then I just had to step back and then focus on my new things. So.
Sure. What do you think there was like when you first decided to buy that first home, was it the market, do you think, that kind of like aided and pushed you in that direction? Or like where did that itch kind of come from? Do you have any idea?
Well, my dad always worked on a rental property growing up. So I always helped him with that. So that's kind of I saw that extra income. And I'm like, that's kind of a way to build long-term value and short-term income, was to get in that. And then, I think the market did help though, because that was just after the whatever they call that.
The market crash. Yeah. 2008. Yeah.
So that house was, but the house was in the middle of Wisconsin, but it certainly helped and made it affordable to where I was with my savings and what I could invest at the time to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was always it. I was trying to do that.
Yeah. What do you enjoy about growing the business or growing a business, right? Because you've done that a few times.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoy just seeing it come together. I enjoy the people that come together with it. So I don't know. Yeah.
The people.
Yeah. It's always the people. That's what I love. That's why I do the remodeling. It's not about, I love the design part, but the people that I work with, and for them, it's very meaningful for them where they're at. And so it gives them some full-time employment and helps them provide for what they need. Mm-hmm. And I just have great relationships with all of them. Yeah. And then, on the medical side, it was always that. I love going on the road and meeting the people and the patients, and that's what I do now still. I'm about to leave on an RV trip for the summer, and I'm going to do some awesome hikes, but at lunches and other places, wherever I meet people on the top of a mountain plenty of times. And just, I don't know, I love meeting people and hearing their stories. I'm my passion is autobiographies, like just hearing somebody tell me their story. And if I could sit down next to somebody and say, I forgot the line I said the other day, but like, just like, what tell me your story.
Yeah. So you enjoy connecting.
Yeah.
It's, and I feel like a lot of owners, a lot of small business people could benefit from that, right?
Yeah.
Just having that mindset of just building a relationship with your employees, which then in turn helps them build a relationship with the customer and helps your business. And
absolutely. I think that was one of the conversations I had on Wednesday, where that it went in a direction where a group of people started talking because they overheard us. And then they started talking about how like they really liked working for this place, but the owner didn't get it. Like that owner, not that I won't single anybody, that owner knew how to make a pizza, but they didn't know how to like interact with other people.
Yeah.
Right. And so that part, I think, is when somebody feels like they're, part of something and you're doing everything you can to help them and make their job easier. Then, I was at the Pig last night. I just popped in the Arizona Pig when they were just talking about like, how all of them were working together. And then at one point it was like, we're a team. Like I help her, she helps me. That's how we get this done, right? It's like, but that all comes from the top, which is Miss Bobby, who lives next to me. She started it. She comes in almost every day, and she's got great people that have been there for a long time. And like, then they're bringing in the next kind of generation of people, and they all work together, all care about each other. And like, that's, if you can create a culture and an environment in that, in a business setting, in your small business, then, those people will do anything for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would do anything for them, which is
right.
I would say that's everybody who works for me on like the remodel, and like, they just know that I would do anything for them. And if I asked them to do anything, I know they would say yes, because that's the relationship we've created. And I think it's important to do that, because that connection and that, having that, it's like family at that point, right? You just do that.
Right. And I think too, like, you seem like you're hands-on, right? Like you're in the business, like even though you may be one of the owners, but you're there day to day doing some of the same jobs they're doing too, right? So that carries a lot of weight.
So I got the text last night from Nicky, who was working the bar last night. And he's like, the electric's out in front, and he's had some other problem too. Oh, he had 2 beers that he didn't know, because we usually have a change list, and for a reason, health related reason, it didn't get updated. So he's like, I don't know what to change here. So, I drove up there right after it stopped raining, and I put the ladder up and I fixed all the electrical, and then I put everything on tap, and we updated everything. Took like 20 minutes, but that's what I was there for. But I'll do that there. I'm ready to work shift on Saturday if that person with the health if he can't run the full time, I'll run in there, and I'll work at 2 or 3 or 4 hours, whatever I need to do for the business. I'll do it. And then on the remodel, I've just been demoing the ugliest, smelliest cat house I've ever been in my life.
Sounds fun.
And but it's because my main guy, he doesn't like cats, so I'm like, I'll do it.
I'll take it.
But he does everything under the sun, though. So I know if he's like, that stinks, I'll be like, all right, I'll go in there, and I demoed the whole thing. It was wretched. But, got to do it.
That carries a lot of weight, right? Like when you're people that you've hired, they see you putting in the work like that. They're like, man, well, I got to step my game up too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I've had that many times with people that said like that, especially I'll go in there and jump in there, do the work if I have to.
Yeah.
Most of them be like, no, you shouldn't be doing the work. I'm like, yeah, I'll do the work. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't bother me. I enjoy the work. It's not beneath me at all. I like to do it because it reconnects me with what the hell they're doing every day. It's hard work.
Yeah. Do you think that is like that trait is like you're just kind of given that trait, or it's like a learned skill?
Yeah, no, it's a learned skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know other people have that same, have the same kind of walk as I've had.
Yeah.
And they don't have that at all.
Yeah.
They're not willing to dive in. They'll be like, no, that's why I pay them. That kind of attitude, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say it's very much learned, but I'll say it's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
that.
upbringing. It's a lot of different things, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you never had money, I think, you know, you can appreciate like that journey. And like, I didn't come from like a wealthy background at all. My dad worked his butt off as a mechanic for his life. And my mom was blessed enough to work once I went to high school. She took side jobs, and then I worked in high school so I could save enough money for my college, which I didn't, but I worked my entire college career. I worked. Like, I did have fun too, but I worked freshman, sophomore. Every year I worked, and some years I would work 50 hours a week and still go to school and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I just think that nothing was ever given to me, and I'm grateful for what I've been blessed with.
Yeah. Is that how do you think you handle that? Like, if you have money, like raising kids?
It's an interesting question. I don't know. Like,
because it's like, you're growing up, you have a family too. And
yes.
And, it's like, you want to have money and these, like, the freedom to do these things so that your kids and family can live freely and do whatever it is. Right. But there's also like the flip side of that too. It's like, if you're brought up with money, like, there's that difficulty in raising them to understand like the value in hard work and certain things like that are important in life.
Yeah.
As they become adults.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100%. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
But the joy is in the effort of doing it. And like, it's sad if you got that taken away from you and just said, hey, oh, here you go. Here's a bunch of money. I look at my daughter, and, I think she's of the age, she's almost 15 now. And so she's a little entitled, like, and I've tried not to do that. I've tried to always, even the other day on the way to school, I said, yeah, like in high school, you got to do everything your own, you might make your own food. Like, I've tried to prep them. Like, you're not getting squat from me. They know that. Like, if something happens to me tomorrow, I'm giving it all away.
Yeah.
We got mom still. Like, well, you might, but you're not getting it from me.
Yeah.
So you better learn how to work.
Yeah.
Because
and make your own.
Yeah. I just think that's the if you steal that away from somebody, like doing the work and have that achievement and
and maybe that's it. Maybe it's like you're focused on, it seems like you enjoy the process of building a business, right? And not the outcome of like selling the business or reaching this, monetary goal.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can say I see things differently. The money is never the reason for me. Even when I didn't have much money, it still wasn't
even
the
as
reason.
A CPA?
Yeah, it just wasn't. Like, I worked, the first year to pay off all my student loans and then my house and then my car, right? And then it's where, again, I'm very strategic and planning. Like, and then, I don't know. Yeah, I view a lot of people value money, but I don't value it the same way.
So does that come from, like, your parents and like watching your dad work? Like, where does that come from?
I don't know. I've read a lot of books, a lot of autobiographies. I think it generally, I don't want to sound airy. I have that. To me, it's a wisdom. It's a wisdom of knowing what's of true value.
Yeah.
Right. And I could see so many people just chasing money and not doing what they love just because of that. Right. I've seen enough of it. So I don't know. I would say mostly, I mean, I had good upbringing in that regard. I wasn't like, I lived up north, but we didn't have air conditioning. We didn't have like certain things that my kids are like, it's hot in here. Right. But I never had that. So part of it is coming from that for sure. And they instilled that hard work and that kind of stuff. But I just think life has thrown me a couple curveballs, made me appreciate things differently.
Yeah.
And I feel like I do read good books. I've met just a lot of people. I like to ask a lot, like when I'm on the road, if I can meet older people, I just love to ask them, like, what would you give sometimes young little whippersnapper like me advice on like what, on life, just what would you do differently, or what are you most happiest about? So, and I don't know. I feel like, again, the fact that I can travel and just that's how I use my time and to go meet new people and like that just further reinforces some of the stuff that I already believe. And I learned so many other new things from people, not from, I'm pretty dumb when it comes to, math, and like my daughter, she's in 8th grade, and a lot of that stuff I don't understand.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not, like, from a technical standpoint, from details and technicals, I'm not very intelligent. I just feel from like human interaction. I've been blessed with a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
I'm very open-minded. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's one thing I've learned kind of through the podcast too, is I've really enjoyed just being able to connect with a lot of people and just have different conversations, right, about this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you sent me Joe Rogan's podcast with
Williamson or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember. His podcast, Modern Wisdom.
Yes.
But what's his name?
I think it's Brian Williamson. Is
that what it is? So anyways, I listened to that podcast, and they kind of talked about that too, of just having conversations with so many different people.
Chris Williamson.
There you go.
Yes.
And
I think Chris Williamson was, he used to be he
was like a club promoter.
Right?
Yeah.
And so they have this segment in there, which I think is just absolute money. It's one of my favorite things in the world, where they talk about he's been to where all these people want to get to, right?
Yeah.
And people think that there's value in that.
Yeah.
But he's learned that there's not value in it.
Yeah.
The value in it is because it's hard to achieve, but that doesn't mean that when you get there, that it's worth the effort and all the time, because it's not.
Yeah.
Right. If you're faced with cancer, or you're faced with a severe head injury, or you're faced with losing my mom, like other things, it's like money doesn't really matter at that point. So that segment that they have, that where they're talking about that, it's a great segment to me, because it's like a lot of people chase being the promoter, right? The pretty girls, all these other things, because they think there's value in it.
Yeah.
And it's really not. Just because it's hard to get doesn't mean it's valuable. Right?
Yeah.
It just means it's hard to get.
Right.
And if you want to put the work in, go get it. But that doesn't mean you'll be any happier, or it's what you really want.
Right.
Because a lot of people do it just because other people are doing it.
Right.
Right. That's the Insta world that we live in. But I don't think, I think that's a great segment there, which is why I love it. And I follow him a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. They've got a couple of great podcasts. Obviously they don't need a plug or anything like that.
No, they don't. But like, to your point, as a podcaster, I feel like I listen to Joe Rogan a lot when he has an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Joe Rogan I thought I knew it 15, 20 years ago, this guy is so much more knowledgeable and intelligent about so many things, because he's had so many one-on-one human interactions where he can learn directly from somebody who knows what they're talking about, or very experienced in that matter. And when you do that, like, I don't know, it just connects with you a little bit every time. And I retain a lot more from that.
Yeah, for
than
sure.
Just reading.
Reading. And I think you're more, we're having a conversation here. We don't have our phones on, right? So it's like you're more engaged, you're more present in these one-on-one conversations, and that sort of stuff. Even then, like listening to a podcast, right? You still, like, I listen to podcasts and I'm driving, my car around, right?
Yep. I did it this morning. I took my bike out to Wall Springs and I listened to an Audible this morning. But a lot of times it's podcast and then it's like, oh, there's a squirrel.
Yeah. So these, there's so much value in these conversations. It's cool. It's very cool. All right. So let's circle back to the Naughty Dog. Like, what do you see the future there? Like, what's your, big picture there? And
big picture is I just want to keep it a nice, quaint little place.
Yeah.
I like these acoustic sounds. Like I just want like a chill environment where I'm not trying to like expand it. I think I talked to you about doing the tree house up above.
Oh yeah.
Where
That's cool.
You can catch a sunset, but I really need to get everything downstairs 100%.
Yeah.
And eventually, if I can get county approval, I would love to do just a little tree house up above it, so that you got another little quiet place to go.
Yeah.
You could see the sunset, you could see the ocean from there, and enjoy whatever your guilty pleasure is, whether it's dessert or a glass of wine or wine slushy or a cold beer, and you could just go up there and have a nice little spot. So that would maybe 3 to 4 years down the road because of county restrictions. But on my main level, it's just creating a nice family friendly atmosphere where you don't have to. You could bring your kids and not worry about them running off. Certainly, I'm going to create safe space, but then just not being around.
Yeah, you can enjoy some adult time while they're playing,
hang out, do their own thing. Yeah, just a nice chill little vibe like that, where we hopefully have 20, 40 people on a regular basis coming in to enjoy it for a little while.
Yeah, I love that. One thing I want to wrap up with is you're kind of new to the area, right? You've been here for a few years now, or
August 2018. So yes,
so
almost 5 years.
Yeah. So when you're not working, what do you like? Where do you like to go? If there's a local business that you like to go to, or a local park, beach, where are you going? You got one spot.
I have one spot.
Yeah.
Probably Wall Springs. I love biking on Wall Springs for sure. Like that's kind of my weekly thing. At least just sitting out there. It's nice and quiet and chill. But
do you go back on like the new trail, like back in there?
Yeah, that's where I always end up. Yeah. I just sit out there.
Yeah.
I got a recumbent bike too, so I take that and then I sit out there and just relax for a while and then head back. So if it's physical like that, like I definitely love Wall Springs. I think it's a nice quiet place where there's not a lot of traffic.
Have you been to, how they have the, like the new addition, right? And then there's like the other parking lot. I think it's a new parking lot. I didn't know that there was trails back in there, like in the woods. Yeah.
That's the main trail that I go on. So you can come in the main entrance.
Paved trail?
Yeah, there's a paved trail to the right and it goes all the way to the ocean.
Yeah. And then there's like unpaved trails like back in the woods there.
Yeah.
I never realized that until it was probably a couple months ago now. But
never ventured on it.
Yeah.
I always have
small,
bike on me, but
short trails, but going down to the water is great.
Yeah.
Perfect spot.
But I love the bike path. So that's where I'm at. Like, yes, Wednesday I went to Dunedin. So I usually take one day a week where I'll go either to Dunedin and I ended up at, Lucky Lobster and then I went to Caledonia and then Savinson real quick and then headed home. And that was my day off because I don't have my kids on Wednesday or Thursday. So I usually pick one of those days. And then the other day I'll go up to Tarpon, same thing, grab some good food and then go to Hours. I love Hours.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll just bum around there kind of. I know people everywhere because I kind of do those trips enough to where I'd see. So I love that. And then I try to get to St. Pete at least once a month, but usually turns into every other month. Yeah, I love downtown St. Pete.
Yeah, that's a cool spot. It's and it's so cool that you can just hop on the trail and just cruise down.
Yeah.
To like Dunedin. We've done the same thing, right? Dunedin. And being in Palm Harbor, I think is perfect, right? Because you get the best of all three of those. Dunedin's not far, Tarpon's not far.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I've never been on a Jolly Trolley.
Oh.
And my niece did it. Like some of my nieces come up and she did it and she's like, "Oh, super cool."
The Palm Harbor Chamber just did like the pub crawl. Is it tonight or that might have been yesterday?
Oh, might be. But I was like, I should be going hopping on that and just go. She just went to Clearwater Beach and she's like, I'll just hop back. It took 20 minutes. I'm like, I could just go down there, grab some dinner and hang out for a little while and just take it right back. I think it's $2.
Yeah.
Never done it. It's something that I got to do. But they do have a Jolly Trolley brewery one now. They have like 3 of them that they decked out and put new wrappings on that just go to like 20 different breweries.
Okay.
Not that I need that more, but I've heard that. But that's one thing that I would definitely want to try that I've never done since I've been down here. Just
the Jolly
hop on the Jolly Trolley and head in one of the directions.
Yeah. That's cool.
Super cool. So,
well, awesome. Rick, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.